Ta-da! Hello, everybody.
Ta-da!
Hello, ladies.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. It's getting dark there already too. It's getting dark early. I noticed like this morning. I went to go take the kids to school, and it was still kind of dark a little bit outside. It's like, yeah, here we come, fall. Let's do
And
this.
it happened it seemed like overnight. It was like one day it was getting dark at 8 o'clock, 8:30, and then all of a sudden it's like 6:30 and it's dusk outside.
Wow.
Anyway, guys, welcome to the very first episode here on Interdemon Media of the Witch's Hour. So it's sort of like Everyday Magic because that's where it's originated from. And we kind of decided during our little bit of a break to go with a name change. And so we went back to something that I used to do a very, very long time ago, 3 years ago, which is a little old witchy podcast called The Witch's Hour. And I thought, here we are. We're going to try and pull it off again. So welcome, everybody, to the revised, renewed version of The Witch's Hour.
Welcome,
everyone.
I love it.
Hello, Tina. How are we doing, Lady Blind Wolf? Hello.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
My wife.
I'm so excited about this. I feel like it's like this. It really is a renewal, a rebirth of our energy and our dynamic. And Luna's like working her butt off to get guests, which I'm so excited for. I get excited to see who's next because,
How have you guys, what did you guys do in your breaks? Before we start with the show, how was you guys' breaks? Did you guys enjoy your time off?
I absolutely did. It was a nice break for sure.
Hello, Christina. Was a nice break for you, Heather?
I didn't really have much of a break. So I'm always working on my other stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know. I miss you guys. I can't say that, I love to do this. This is like for me, and I love this part. So, but I'm always working on my readings and, healings and doing sessions and doing my own inner work, dealing with my own inner demons so that I can come share with all of you.
Well,
I don't really take many breaks.
We love sharing too.
Yeah. So I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I've only done a couple of shows the last couple of weeks. It's been on the radio, to be fair. So, and me getting back comfortable behind the microphone again and getting into the swing of things. It's been a little bit stressful, trying to get everything gathered together, make everything look good and nice, professional. And I'm just
you've been doing a lot of work on your break, to be honest.
Yeah, I really have.
Yeah.
I've kind of refreshed everything up and kind of taught myself a few new little tricks with video editing. So, I've been busy. I've been busy trying to get everything ready for the fall because the falls are our busiest time of the year.
We're on the cusp.
And we're starting our fall season off, like officially, for me at least. Yeah, I've done a couple shows on the radio, but today is me officially starting off the fall season with you ladies here in the Witch's Hour. And what a good show we got tonight, by the way.
Yeah.
And next week we get to do a show on the beginning of Mabon, which is a Celtic holiday, and it's the equinox.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be so many things we're gonna be celebrating and doing and all that. It's we're gonna have our hands full. I know I am.
I'm excited.
So Luna, since you're the one that introduced us to this fine gentleman, would you like to introduce him on to the show?
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Papa Olofsson.
I like how you said that.
I did too.
How are you doing, Papa?
Good. Thank you guys for having me on, especially after hearing that this is sort of a rebirth and rejuvenation of something that you've all enjoyed so much before. It's an honor to be here and participate in that.
Well, welcome. Thank you for sharing space with us.
Yes, thank you for hanging out with us. I told you before the show, we was all sitting back here and we was looking at your background, and he when the show came on, what was he doing? He was relaxing, almost to the point where he had his hands up behind his back, just chilling on that comfy spot he's got there. What a beautiful space, by the way.
And one of the downstairs workspaces, and you've got to be comfortable to work, especially if you're working in spiritual tools and things like that. Your energy and your vibe goes into the work that you make, and then carries on. You kind of imbue that
I couldn't
spirit
agree
into
more
the
with
piece.
you when you say that. I like that you said that because everything you're doing there is some sort of spiritual, magical intent behind it.
Yeah, you've got to work with
So,
purpose.
well, speaking of purpose, this show has a purpose sometimes. So
We always get a good message out there.
we always get a good message out there at some point. So the people who have not been introduced to you or are not acquainted who you are, introduce yourself and tell everybody exactly all that you do, and then we'll start diving into that a little bit.
First and foremost, I'm a father and a husband and um, a kinsman to my tribe, and then I'm a craftsman. I really enjoy working in the materials that I do and having the opportunity to build and create tools that I can pass on into the right hands for people to share in that healing that's so needed in the world now. A lot of people are transitioning away from modern medicine and returning to ways of folk healers and more trusted people. And I can't blame them when you look at some of the things like the pharmaceutical industry and the doctors and the insurance companies that are out there. It's scary to interact and work with some of those people, but when you can work with someone that you know and trust that's experienced in healing, um, whether it be spiritual or physical, it has a different feel, a more home feel to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm like sitting with my head cocked to my side. I'm
I
like,
just
oh,
resonate with
listen to
that so
him.
much. I spent 25 years in the medical field, always saying, working one-on-one with doctors. And luckily, I was always blessed with doctors that were like using bioidentical hormones. And I worked with DOs who wanted to find the solution, what was the actual root of the problem and things like that. But yeah, I mean, for sure, as another healer, I totally resonate with, you have to work both sides of it. You have to spiritually as well.
Yeah, there's a big benefit to taking a holistic approach or looking at it all together. I think the people that work in triage don't get enough credit. It's that diagnosis, that initial talking it out, communicating, has
For
so
sure.
much to do with treating an issue,
Yeah,
getting to the
absolutely.
root, as you had just mentioned, Heather.
Let me ask you. I want to ask like one of the important questions. I think it's important for me at least when I meet someone like you, individual like yourself. We all have our own path and our own journey to get to where we are today, right?
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What made you decide to go down this path? What was that? What was your life like to get you to where you're at today?
I really don't think that it was a decision that I've made. I think it was something that was decided for me. Um, I didn't really pick it up at first. I just felt like it was a strange quirk or a weirdness, you might say, that maybe I just liked being in the woods too much or cared too much about plants or flowers or had too much of an interest in science and biology, and everybody else was doing other things. And so I felt I had to do other things and be conventional. And I put it off and put it off, but it's like that, I guess, a calling or a knocking that keeps going until you eventually answer. And I started to take my studies more serious, I guess, maybe about 25 to 27 years ago. And it's been on since then, still learning today. And I think that's a huge aspect of practice, in any practice, is to keep learning. Don't cut yourself off or give yourself a plateau where you feel that you've learned everything there is to know about something. There's
Oh
always
There's
yeah,
more
you're
to
always
come.
definitely
something new to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right,
Exactly.
absolutely.
William.
Yeah.
And as adults, we tend to do that though a lot, don't we? I mean, when we're kids, our imagination and the world is wide open for anything. You know what I mean? And as we go along in life, as we become adults, we start closing our minds to all the other possibilities of what could be in your life, and you get so settled to hearing what you should be doing than what you could be doing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I have that conversation all the time of, open yourself up to, because the only limits you have are the ones you set on yourself. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right either way.
That's
Right.
right. Mm-hmm.
As soon as you say you can't do it, well, you're right. You can't do it because you've already told yourself that you already limited yourself to that.
So how long, Papa, how long have you been doing what you've been doing? I know I heard something about 25, 27 years. That's how long you've been doing it?
As far as personal path and practice, yes, in the crafting, I've been doing that for years and years and years as well. It's something that I was doing for myself, my own tools, and creating things that I felt aided me in my practice. And um, through the encouragement of my wife, I decided to start sharing those crafts and tools with the world, and Fjallvatir Workshop began. We actually started as Heathen's Greetings US, and sort of like you had mentioned before, um, the transition from everyday
Everyday
witchcraft or
magic.
everyday
Mhm.
magic to this episode here. We kind of shifted gears. Before, we were doing something that was more general, but I felt like there was something more that I should be giving to my craft and what I'm giving to other people. And so I got more serious about it, and the Heathen's Greetings US shifted to Fjallvatir Workshop to give some of that mountain spirit to the pieces that are being created.
I mean, you really do some like amazing stuff. What was it the other day? Was it an antler that I seen you made into a whistle, if I'm not mistaken? It was a video I think I seen you do.
Yeah, that was a piece of a deer forearm. Um,
Oh, that's what it was. I see. I thought it
And
was
you
an
made it
antler.
into you made it into a whistle? Is that what you
Yeah.
said?
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
um,
incredible.
I had sat around and was reminiscing, thinking about times being young and my friends and I, and the time that we spent in the woods and playing and just making anything and everything out of sticks that we could, uh, whether it be some kind of magical staff or wand
Or it was a machine
or
gun.
or yeah, just anything. And
I've done it.
we would make whistles or pretend bow and arrow. And
Hmm.
that whistle idea
Yeah.
had me wondering if I could replicate it in a piece of bone. So I gave it a shot, and it worked.
It definitely worked. It sounded really good too. I was like, man, that is badass. See, I would have never have thought of doing that.
So what do your workshops like what do you do in your workshops? Tell us about it.
Fjallvatir Workshop itself is more just the name for the craft and what we put out. In the actual workshops that I do in person, we've done things like making medicine bags together and drum building and rattles. And I've had
Didn't you
some
do a
very, very.
survival kit at one point
I did
for
not.
kids?
Mm-mm.
It sounds good though.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
there's an
that's
idea for you.
Yeah, there you go.
no.
Wait a second, let me write this down. I'm gonna get to this later. I'm
Right.
gonna try this out.
And, we started off with the medicine bag making workshop, and some very, very gracious hosts, my good friends at Moonjoy Meadery, let me use their space to host people and do these in-person workshops that I've done in the past. And from there, we did a rattle workshop with all kinds of different things, different sounds vibe with different peoples. And so we had some different things like beans and coffee beans and rice and couscous and different fillers for the rattle heads that give a slightly different sound and different vibes. So everybody got to put their own thing together. And then we did a drum workshop after that.
I want to go to one of these damn things.
I was just thinking, like, when I get to that side of the country, can we set that up?
You're more than welcome.
When I'm that
I am
direction,
not
I
that
would
far
love to,
away.
vibe
If
with
you make it
that.
this way, let me know, and I will plan a workshop just for you to attend.
I'm going to take you up on that for sure.
Like, I want to go now. I'm not that technically. Me and Luna are not that far away.
No, we're not. Let's go.
Let's do it, Luna.
Yeah.
Let's make our because we plan on doing like a get together for next year. We should do that get together over at Papa's place and have a
Yeah.
workshop.
Awesome. I'm trying
Make some magical
to convince Sid to dance around a fire naked just once.
I'm not.
Yes.
I'm too hairy.
We could get him in a loincloth.
I'm actually looking out for the environment. I'm actually looking out for the environment. If I got too close to the fire, I'm catching stuff on fire. In other words, myself. And it'd be like looking at a California forest fire. Everything about it, I'd be screaming like Michael Jackson at a Pepsi commercial.
If you guys visit and that's planned, I'll keep an extinguisher nearby. I'll just hose him off.
You just be seeing me running around in the wooded outline. And you hear ruffling. You hear ruffling, and me just running back and forth the wooded outline. Everybody go, what is that? Oh, never mind. That's just Sid running around the woods naked.
We're studying with Sid's goatee.
I'm sorry, we went off track here. I apologize. I tend to do that sometimes. But yeah, I want to go to one of these workshops. I mean, I want to build some cool stuff.
We should plan it for next year, and we should do it, and then we can.
They're a lot of fun.
Make a show or something. I don't know.
I really enjoy doing them. You meet some really, really awesome people. It's kind of a shoe-in that they're like-minded people coming to one of these type workshops anyway, but then you get to hear about their different paths and different aspects of how they practice. And in paganism, a lot of us believe the same thing. We just believe in different ways.
Yes.
I can agree with that.
Yeah. The basic belief system is the same. It's just how we word it.
I think with paganism, it's just a big umbrella. I think it's just an umbrella for people to be able to walk any kind of path they want to.
It's the tree of life. You've got that root system and then many, many branches and many, many leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I agree.
It's a beautiful thing.
I've been practicing off and on witchcraft, I guess, for almost 30 years. I started fooling around with it when I was about 15, and here I am 48. So off and on, I've been doing some sort of spiritual journey, and didn't even realize it. From being a youth, I was going to be a youth minister, all the way to what I'm doing today. I've been, it's funny where our lives take us and our journeys that we go on. You know what I mean? That's why I was asking you about your journey to get to where you're at today. You know, so sometimes it's a defining moment in someone's life to say, I'm going to commit to this lifestyle and this way of living. Because honestly, paganism is sort of, in a sense, a lifestyle, right? You're living a certain way, you're dressing a certain way, you're committing to this. And it's a lot alike the battle you have with I didn't want to go this direction, but with Christianity, right? It's a battle. 1 minute you go to church real hard and heavy, then you stop, you get off the wagon, you don't go to church, and you go back to it again. But when you actually commit 100% to what you're doing and what your craft is, and you're committing to who you are as you being told who you are, you already know who you are, but you're committing to that point on.
You're finding comfort in it, I think. I think I'm finally, because I get that. Because, when I think about it, when you were talking about that and, years and years of going back and forth, and you said you were probably 15, I was going to yoga classes with my mom when I was 8 because I loved the vibe and I loved the meditation at the end. And that just popped into my head. So, that's 40 years, just about.
What was your
40 years anyway,
What was your defining moment, Papa? What was your defining moment where you said to yourself, I'm going to commit to this dream, that this is what I believe, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm committing to this.
I don't think it was a singular moment, but a buildup of occurrences and life experiences that it almost keeps hitting you on the head, um,
Hmm.
you know, or guiding you in a direction. You'll start to veer that way and then get back off, whether it be, no, I've got to stay this way because my family, they're all of this faith, so I have to keep doing this or being this, or my job, or people at my work, or the way that society views paganism nowadays and all the misunderstandings that there are about paganism. And we want to fit in, right? We have to get along with our coworkers, our friends, our family, our neighbors. So we tend to want to stay in that direction, but you keep getting hit in the head. Like, no, that's not what you're here for. That's not your purpose in this life, or
And
your
they're not
course in
friendly hits over the
communication.
head either, are they? I mean,
They're
sometimes
like,
life will leave you like snippets laying around, and then sometimes it'll just come right behind you and just sucker punch you.
Yeah, Heather may give some reference to this in shamanism. You encounter certain periods in life that are referred to as a shamanic death or bouts of shamanic illness, where there's a major thing that happens in your life, whether it be the loss of a loved one or um, a personal issue or mountain that you have to climb, and you're reborn in that process and that experience, and it
Mm,
keeps you on that rail that you're going up and in the right direction.
yes,
I should be walking on fucking water right now. Then
you have to believe that you can.
I've overdosed 3 times and died once, and all four of the instances I was 3 of them I was this close to being dead, and the last one they had to do the whole thing in the chest to bring you back, bring you back. And every time it happens, I felt like something in my life changed. Of something, I started noticing things that I didn't realize I was capable of, or I knew that I was able to do. And it was kind of one of those slow processes too, of like waking up the things that you've been suppressing your whole entire life.
Yeah, I've had several of those moments, and a lot of times it's the effect that almost on like what I do for other people as well. Like, where it's like you don't realize that that even in your darkest times you're affecting other people, like you can still be a positive light for other people. I think that's happened to me a lot of times too, where I've come out the other end going, oh wait, do they even really know who I am? Do I even really know who I am anymore?
There's some days I ask
Now I
that
have to,
myself.
reintroduce myself to the world. I've had those multiple times.
That's it. Because you're constantly changing and evolving and learning new things, and you progress as a person. I've tried so hard in so many different ways to explain to others what shamanic death is like, and I know a lot of people put it as a death of ego and then rebirth afterward. But another way I like to look at it is to be an artist, and you're working on a sculpture, this clay sculpture, and you build it up and build it up. And that's the cycle of your life that you're in now. It's your friend circle, it's your work, it's your beliefs. And then you see something that you don't like and it needs changed. But you can't just change that thing. You have to tear the whole damn thing down and build again.
Yeah.
And then you do
Yeah.
that over and over and over again. And each time you get a little bit better. You like it a little bit more. It's a little bit more the way it's supposed to be. And we work on this our entire lives. And I think when we finally hit the point of perfection, that is when the life in this world is over and we graduate into the spirit of the next life.
Yeah. And
Mm.
sometimes that's when you have that realization, the death part comes too with people that you used to connect with are no longer a
Mhm.
part of your life. And you start to go like, you feel lonely. I mean, that's happened to me even within the past couple of years, where I felt like I just didn't have any, like no one knew who I was. because I was such a completely different person that the people I knew for 20, 30 years that I have been friends with, like I don't connect with them. I don't. And then trying to reconnect with people almost seems difficult sometimes. Have you ever had that happen where it's like, okay, I'm kind of grasping? And Sid, you and I have kind of talked about this where you go, you know, you can lean on us. Like we're here. You don't have to do it all by yourself all the time. You know, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have
I
that
forgot.
support system still. You know what I mean? Or again, you know, with new people, because then you're rebuilding all those and making new, stronger connections with people at a different vibration. But until you get comfortable in that vibration, it can be very lonely for sure.
Absolutely. And you'll have friends that don't understand your progress and the changes that you make. And so then you kind of lose that connection. And then you do have friends that understand and they stick with it. But
And some of them have seen it in you way longer than you saw it in you.
that's true.
Right? I have friends that are like, I knew that about you a long ass time ago. And I'm like, thanks.
And it's something that we have to remember ourselves, that even though we progress in our path or our practice, that our friends aren't going to make those same changes or make those same leaps or take those same chances in doing something different or doing something new. So at times I've seen a lot of people practicing alienate themselves from their friends or their family or loved ones by saying, hey, I'm moving up and moving on, but they're not keeping up. And so that divide comes from the person rather than the friend group. But then you've got friend groups that are the crabs in a bucket that don't want to see you progress, and those aren't really your friends anyway. That's more just a social circle or a social group. So when they see someone doing exceptionally well, the fear of that person leaving that group and onto other different things comes in, and they want to keep you back and keep you in that. But your true friends, your real friends, will support and encourage and appreciate personal growth.
Yeah.
And that's, I've took a lot of great, I went through those same situations you just talked about there in my life, where I people I thought were friends weren't friends. As I was growing things here on the social media, I was losing friends left and right. People were stabbing me in the back. They was only around for one thing. And then when I finally decided I was going to try to do this again, I spent a lot of time making sure that the people that are around me are around for the right reasons. And I'm very, very, very protective of who is with me and who's around me. That's just who I am in nature. It's just funny how we progress through our own journeys and we progress through our own life experiences, and we're learning things as we go. And as we get older and we're learning all these things, not only are we getting wiser, but I think part of it is we start to alienate ourselves away a little bit from the people that we used to be hanging around. I mean, as an addict, we'll just use this hypothetically as a good example. As an addict, you're not wanting to, and you're trying to get sober, you're not wanting to keep going back to the same crowd that got you started in the first place. You know what I mean? You're wanting to better yourself every single day. And I think people miss that a lot. I think they miss the whole point of, yes, you are going to leave some people behind, and that's okay. They're not everybody's journey or not everybody's paths are going to be walked the same. There's going to be forks in the road, sort of like a tree of life. There's going to be branches that are going out everywhere in different directions. These are people's journeys. They're taking on their own. We're not meant for everybody's path.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, should we take a brief break?
Let's do
Take
it.
a potty break, intermission, grab something to drink. We're going to play one of our Inner Demon Media's Hall of Fame inductee bands for this month. This band is good friends of ours here, Anoxia. This is their new video for their song Tears I Bleed. We'll be right back, everybody. You guys are watching The Witch's Hour. We're hanging out with Papa Olofsson, and I'm Sid, Luna, and Heather. We'll be right back, everybody.
Yo, it's the outlaw Joseph Scott inviting everybody out to Growlers in Memphis, Tennessee It's going to be my first time on stage in Memphis in 10 years. October 22nd, baby. Growlers, Halloween party. It's going to be scary. See what I did there? Loyal Memphian coming at you. Here I come, Memphis.
Hey guys, Crystal from the band Anoxia here, and you're watching Inner Demon Media. Inner Demons. Because we all have them, we all just don't hide from them.
Welcome back, everybody.
Did I mess things up?
Did you mess things up? How?
Yeah, by logging in and logging back in.
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Okay.
Welcome back. Well, I mean,
it's
now,
Heather's turn.
now you just jinxed it. Now look what you did,
I
Luna.
did.
You jinxed it. What's going on here? Anyway, welcome back, everybody, to the Witches Hour. We're hanging out here with Papa Olofsson. Look, she's back. Bingo.
Yay.
You ask that, you say that like it's a question. Like, is this Papa Olofsson?
I do I want to make sure I say their names right. If anything,
with
anybody knows anything
confidence.
about me, knows I'm bad with names, like the worst with names and band names.
Yeah.
I am. I just am. Anyway,
As long
thanks for
as
hanging
you
out
don't.
with us.
Good.
Go ahead, Lee. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, as long as you don't call me late for dinner, you can call me anything.
Don't tell me that. You messed up.
I was
I
gonna
made
say
a
that
mistake.
So,
is
Luna,
a
you've been
loaded gun
following
there.
you've been following Papa for a while now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you made a special effort to find Papa and ask him to be on the show.
Yeah.
And myself and Heather have been blabbermouth the whole first 30 minutes of the show. I am sure that you have plenty of questions to ask Papa. Won't you have at it?
I don't have very many questions,
Well, what
but
kind of
I
host are
can.
you?
I know, right? Um, I can say that I resonate with him. That was one of the reasons why I started following him. And excuse me. When I was younger, I really loved nature, and I found myself in the woods all the seasons, and I was always drawn out into the woods. And I did a lot of things like Papa did, was, just creating things out of nature and pretending and imagining. And it wasn't really imagining to me, it was very real. And it was a magical experience. And I felt very empathetic with the earth. And I didn't know what that was or what kind of label to put on it until probably 10 years ago when I got away from Christianity and started acting like I was when I was little, was getting back out in the woods and creating and getting closer to the earth. And I was like, oh, I might be a witch or a pagan. And I don't like human beings very much. I empathize more with the earth and with the animals, and I feel more than I do with human beings. And when I do stray away from my path, a raven always comes to wherever I am, kind of like that bonk on the head. Like, hey, remember? Like, we're here and you've forgotten about us, or like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I have to go out in the woods and kind of recenter myself and get close. And one thing I really liked about Papa was the watching him create and be himself. Um, I liked watching his videos. He would make drums, um, and he would be on there for quite a long time, and you could watch his process. It was very soothing and inspiring. And to be honest, part of the reason why I got into wood burning was from him, watching him create. And it when I create, I know the show isn't about me. I'm really sorry. I'll stop in just a second. When I create, he is right. You need to be comfortable. You need to be in a good environment, because everything that you're doing with your hands goes into that work. And when you give it away, or when somebody wants to purchase something from you, when they get those things in their hands, they can feel everything that you were going through while you were creating it. And that's where the magic is. And that's what I love about him, is that you can literally watch him put this magic into everything that he creates. That's it.
Just sit there and laugh. Just smile.
I'm glad that it is noticed, and that brings it all home.
Yeah.
It is that practical magic, that bit of yourself and your spirit.
It's just
that you
something
put
about
into
it, right? It's just something about gathering your own tools and from Mother Nature, and building your own tools, I should say, that you
Yeah.
gather from Mother Nature and making them your own. There's just something special. Even I mean, I do it. I do what you do to an extent, but not. It's not. I'm not at your level. You know what I mean? I'll make wands. I'll make staffs. Everything. I'll go out. I'll take me and my kids out. Myself and the kids will go out, and I'll find we're at a public park. I'll look for. I'll stare at the ground majority of the time,
Yeah.
looking for sticks that I could turn into a wand or something big enough that looks good enough to make into a staff. I'm sort of. I get what you're doing. There's something about just grabbing the material you need from Earth and having that connection as you're building the tools that you're using, whether you're selling it or using for yourself. Just something about it.
Well, the nature in itself speaks to you. When you find something on the ground or a limb that has fallen off the tree, it kind of tells you, I would like to be this. Can you, especially to those who are empathetic towards nature. And I think we all really are.
I think we
Some
just get
haven't
also
tuned into it.
we just get so comfortable. As a
It's
society
also-
today, we get so comfortable having everything being done easy. There's something about
You can just
connecting
get
in
on
that
Pinterest
primal way.
and right. You can go to Etsy and find that somewhere.
Mhm.
It's a gift and a responsibility. If you accept that gift, if I'm out on a walk and I find some bones there, and I feel that it's being spoken to me that those are meant for me to pick up and take home, there's a responsibility that comes with it. It's not just for nothing. It's not just to sit on a shelf or to be here.
Right.
It's to give a voice to after the life on this earth has lived. With human beings and our friends and our family, we have the works when our life is over. We have a headstone with a little story about us and our birth date and our death date and some sort of nice poem. And we have pictures to remember our loved ones by and stories and memories. But the things in the wild don't communicate the same as we do. And so when they live their life there and they die their life there, their story is over there. And in my crafting, this is a way to respect their life lived and let that voice carry over like memories do for us with our family members.
It's sort of like you're paying the respects to that animal and keeping its legacy alive by crafting these instruments or tools. I think it's a really cool idea. Like I said, I do it to an extent, but not quite like what you do. And it's good to see, because I've been in and out of this pagan community for many years, and it's good to see somebody out there that's genuine, that understands the process, the honoring, the building, the craftsmanship. It's just a breath of fresh air, because you get so many people out there that they claim I'm this, I'm that, and all they're really trying to do is look cool and sell you something.
It's an image to celebrate. They're a walking commercial.
It's
Yes.
and it's annoying. I hate seeing it. It just makes me mad. And as soon as I see friends of people that, and I'll be honest, when I see them doing it on my Facebook page, I get rid of them, because I know, where's your heart at? Where's the intent at? Where's the passion at? Why are you doing what you're doing? And it's good. It's like I said, it's a breath of fresh air watching your videos and seeing that this is just not something that you're trying to look cool at doing, or it's a fad. It's something that you believe in. You truly have a passion for it, and it's a breath of fresh air.
It's who you are.
We get to peek into his daily diary. I think it's really awesome that he's open about his path and sharing with others. And
It's really hard. The props to also, it's really hard for males in the spiritual community to open up doors for other people to be able to view their life as well. I'm one of them that does it, but not and Papa is one that does it as well. But it's a very rare thing for the male figure to be so open and transparent in a big community, because they have to hide behind that tough exterior. I'm the man. I got the looks, but where's the heart? And it's good to see someone like Papa open. Not just he's got the looks, but he's got the heart behind it. And I think that's really important.
I appreciate both of you, and thank you both for being that way and being so open and honest, that it shows other men that it's not less, it doesn't make you less of a man to be open about who you are and your spirituality and the emotions attached to that. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Most
Now
welcome.
cry for me, Sid.
Sorry, what?
I said, now cry for me, Sid.
That's not going to happen. No, I do cry, and I've gone on lives, and I've done on radio. I've done my radio show, and right after my dad passed away, I wanted to do a tribute show on the radio station, and man, I bawled. I think I bawled throughout the whole entire show. I mean, I couldn't keep together, and then I did a one radio show, and then I got the phone call during the radio show that my son died right in the middle of the show. And then I just lost it right then and there live on radio. I mean, I'm not afraid to show emotions. I've never been the one to hide from that, because at the end of the day, we're human. No matter what you believe in, no matter what your path is, no matter what your faith is, we still have all those primal human traits that we all have, and one of those primal traits is our emotions. And I'm not a guy to shy away from my emotions.
And your interests and your hobbies. I am unapologetically who I am, and I don't teach and I don't preach, but I share my experiences in my day-to-day life, and I hope that that lends encouragement to others to do the same, to be themselves, true to themselves. And guess what? I like flowers. I like plants. I like all the things that they do and the medicine that they give. I just like how they look also. Not that they're pollen for the bees and all the bees do for the world, but
It's
they're
therapeutic.
aesthetically pleasing. And that's good for me. And I like it. And I'm not afraid to share that in what I give to the rest of the world on social media platforms, whether it be Facebook or Instagram, whatever. And surprisingly enough, I've not got any kind of slack from anybody for it. Nobody's ever really came at me for sharing a flower picture, but
I'm shocked
I
too.
know a lot
I
of
haven't
people.
got anybody about it
If
too, because
you're
I'll
a
take
dude, if
pictures of
you're a bro,
sunflowers.
you can't possibly like flowers or plants. That's not okay. But
I do
yeah,
not lie. I like getting up in the morning, going outside with a cup of coffee in my hand and the water pot in another. And I like going out there and watering my plants every single morning. Something about doing it's therapeutic for me. I like having plants around me. Maybe just because it helps me kind of ground myself a little bit more, because I love being in the mountains. I loved being out there. I loved living out there.
and you're tending life.
Yeah.
That too. Like, I got enough responsibility as it is.
I did a
But it's
class
not
a
about that.
couple of
It's
years
just
ago.
that love of the beauty of them and connection
It's the
to the earth. And,
process. It's the process of it all. I think it's why I get so much joy. Is the process of it all.
You get that
Planting
energy
the seed,
back.
watching it grow. It's just something about it. Just I don't know. Makes my nipples hard.
makes
Oh
me want
my
to go buy a
goodness.
plant.
Thanks, Sid.
You can laugh, Papa. It's okay. We could be
I had done
spiritual and have funny moments.
a class a few years ago with the Scandinavian Center for Shamanic Studies, and we got to talking about ritual spaces or sacred spaces and connecting with nature. And there was a lady that was on from Spain, and this was during the pandemic lockdown worldwide. And she had said that she lives in Barcelona and had a very hard time getting to the only natural space that they had available, which was a city park. And so the suggestion was made to, if you can't get to the outdoors, bring some of the
Bring it
indoors
to
in.
you.
Yeah.
And house plants. And not only do they freshen your air and give you better air, but the connection, and it's not hoodoo to, there's a real connection that you can make in tending to plants and tending to that life. And you're giving that gift, and whether it be watering or moving them around to the sunlight, they give back. And when you sit in a natural space with plants around you, you feel that energy. And so if you can create that space for yourself on a balcony or in a study or a nook somewhere with house plants or plants that are okay with being inside, then they give back as well. It's an exchange. It's that gifting cycle.
I agree 100%.
What's funny is I did a science project back in the day. I wasn't allowed to represent it because I had to play music. I went to a Christian school most of my life. So my dad allowed me to do this just this one time, but I took 3 bean plants and I grew them. And every day I would spend a half an hour with each plant playing a different style of music. And this is really funny. And I can't believe I'm remembering this. And I'm so excited. So anyway, I played Hank Williams Jr. With one plant, and then I can't remember what I played for the second plant, but I know it was like a heavy metal type of music. And then I think I played some gospel music with the third one.
That
The
one might have
one,
died.
the last two, well, the first one and the third one died. The second one with the heavy metal music thrived, and I was able to plant it outside and get beans. So yeah, I just wanted to add that. But yeah,
But that's because the music made you feel good, right? That was your vibe of the music, right?
You got
Yeah,
the energy
yeah,
If
from the
someone were
music
to
and
do
gave it
that
to the
same
plant.
thing with
yeah,
heavy metal, and heavy metal wasn't their music, heavy metal wouldn't be the one that plant wouldn't have thrived, right?
right,
Because
yeah,
for you, that was like the my
But let's
parents
be
don't want me to
honest.
listen to this, and
yeah,
I get to do
yeah.
this, and it's special. You like looked forward to that 30 minutes every day with that heavy metal
Absolutely.
I mean, let's
music.
be honest.
Yeah,
If I was that seed, I would get tired of hearing when the Saints go marching in too all the time.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I would have died too. I would have done it to myself. I just would have committed suicide. I am not marching anymore. No more Saints. I'm going to dry myself out and kill myself.
Yeah. Oh
That's one
my.
thing I never could stand when I went to church was listening to the gospel, the hymns. Oh my God! When I just would. Oh my God! Like I know him.
You know many.
Right?
Yeah,
I know
no
many.
man. Yeah.
But yeah, I hated listening to the gospel music. I just it just drove me crazy.
Well, there's
I don't know.
some
Now they have
music
like
that,
Christian rock and stuff.
yeah, there's some music, old hymns that I still like to go back to and listen to because it
Unless
just
it's
makes
Elvis
me
singing them.
feel at peace. Yeah, okay.
There's something
But
about a melody. When
yeah,
there's a melody, it or a rhythm, it resonates with you. It doesn't really matter the lyrics so much, but a melody or a tune. I mean, you
It's
might
the
not even hear
music
the words
itself.
in a song, or another song you might hear only the words but not the music.
right. It gives you
And
that
like
little
Heather
like
was saying earlier,
rush
each
into your brain.
person and how they take things and the energy transferred, your path really, really is your own.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought for a lot of people, though, isn't it? They get so used to being told what to do that when you actually tell them this path is actually your own, they're going, "What? I can't
But
do this
that's
by
what makes
myself."
people stop, right? Is they get in that comfort and they're like, wait a minute, what do you mean? No, I've been doing it this way the whole time. What do you mean I could do it any way I
Well,
want?
what's worse
You know?
is like when somebody pushes their path onto others,
Right.
where you're there are a lot of people these days aren't open to hearing other people's way of living and accepting it. They want to say, "Oh no, this is my path," which also means it has to be yours. You're not living right.
Well,
I
their path in a world religion leaves them very, very limited to exploration. They can only go that one direction to that one God, be it God or Allah, or if you're talking about Jesus or Muhammad or whatever, you're very, very limited. And so you don't get to explore and you're not responsible for any exploring other than your connection directly to that God being praised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're almost inhuman after that. You
Mm-hmm.
lose everything that
You're a
we're meant
robot.
to be.
Well, you're not connected to your own higher self, right? You're now you're waiting for God to command you to do, God
You
to
lose
command
that
you to
and
do,
your connection to nature, your appreciation for
right?
nature. And
Yeah.
people have a hard time in modern times in practice because we don't live the same as what we've studied and what we want to practice. We want to venerate our ancestors and the old gods and the old ways, but we don't access those same things in the same way anymore through modern technology and progression in society. Water, for example. There are 20 different places in this house that I could go turn a knob and water comes out. Clean, clear water that I can drink. So we don't appreciate it the same anymore. We don't venerate it the same as someone who would have to walk 5 miles to get to water, or to carry it or lug it back home, or how precious the rain was to the crops, because now we have irrigation and we have sprinkler systems and massive, massive industrial
We just get
farms.
late. We got lazy.
That's when you find beauty in trash. So this is something a friend of mine talked about in, like, when you start connecting and really being thankful is, look at the ice cream wrapper that's in the trash and who created that wrapper and where did the wood come from, and connect with the tree that created this stick that the ice cream was on. And, it came from a factory, and who made the who made the machinery in the, and so then you have appreciation even in that piece of trash. And so when you take a moment and say,
when you actually figure out who has created these things in such a country that is so consumer based,
it's just honoring the fact that it's been done.
But
right?
you're honoring the fact, but do you I'm sorry, but if people actually paid attention to like where these things came from, you'd be disgusted, because more than likely it's a child that made that popsicle stick. You know what I mean?
Which was that wasn't the practice in which I was speaking of.
Right. Yeah.
I'm saying connect with what you're doing, you know, and even go farther into that, right? Like, absolutely. Like, because then you start to, you're conscious of what you're putting in your body. You're conscious of where it's coming. You start, going to farmers markets and talking to the person who picked it. And, there's nothing wrong with that either.
No.
You know what catches my eye, Papa?
What's that?
Those drums behind you, buddy.
I know.
Now, do you make all those there that I see there, even that big one?
I do these all from hand. From processing the hides.
Now you're talking my language. Oh, he's getting ready to hit it. Are you getting ready to bang on it? Man, how hard is it to get those things to sound right using, because you use skin, right?
Yes, this is actually horsehide. Now you can see some of the marbling in the hide there in the right light. This is horse, and I've got some deer hide drums behind me, working up to a festival that we're going to in October in Lenoir, North Carolina. It's such an awesome town. It's a hub for artists and folk arts and music and mead and beer, and it's just an awesome place to be.
Something about mead is just delicious. Have you ladies ever had any mead?
Oh,
like genuine mead?
I ferment my own mead.
Yes.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
So
I am lucky enough to know a mead master, Daniel Phillips at Moonjoy. I consider him a brother and tribe.
I just love those drums. What's your favorite instrument to play, Papa?
I am partial to the rattle.
The rattle?
I am, yeah. Just a little bit ago, we were down at some water, about halfway down the mountain here at Stone Mountain. It's our backyard, but Bullhead Creek runs through there, and so it's good to get around flowing water and mountain water. There's just something really special about it, and the sound that water makes, waterfall.
I'm just so jealous.
And so the rattle really mimics that sound, and It's no wonder that it's a spiritual tool and works in the way that it does, and has also been used as a toy or a craft in soothing babies. A lot of people don't make that connection, but in the womb, you're surrounded by that embiotic fluid
The
and
whooshing sound.
that whooshing sound, and it's water. And a rattle is very much like that buzz or that white noise that you hear. So
I
it
got
takes
I got an
very small
ocean
place
drum.
at the very birth of your brain and the birth of your thought and experience as a human being receiving life. And so it's a great way to connect.
I have an ocean drum.
Hmm.
I love. It sounds like waves crashing onto the
Yeah.
shore. I love playing. I got a rainmaker as well. I love listening to the both of those. I'll sit here. I'll sit here for an hour, just myself, just working the ocean drum. Just love the sound of it.
That sounds incredible. I listen to rainstorms every night when I have an app on my phone that's atmosphere, and
The kitty
thunderstorms
wants
is
an
my favorite.
interview.
So, what? What kind of before we go, before we leave for the night, which I would love to get you back on again and talk some more. I think we can go on and on with this for a long time, but I don't want to keep you up here doing it for 2 hours. Maybe we get you back on some other time soon, because I'm sure we have a lot more to talk about. But before we do go, tell everybody what you got going on. If you got any events coming up, you have fair shot to talk about that. Tell everybody where they can find your business at, so they can go check out all the stuff that you make and sell and all the stuff you do. This is your floor, your moment, sir.
As far as upcoming events, October 8th, Lenore, North Carolina, that artist hub. We're going to be participating there in the Wood, Fire, and Smoke Festival. It's going to be a huge event. I'll be there with these drums and a lot more. But as you had mentioned earlier, you guys coming into your busy time in the fall and coming into winter and the cooler months, we're coming into our busy time as well. So this will be our last in-person event for the year. I may work in a small workshop here and there, maybe November, December, but more or less we're going to be buckled down and working for fjallvolunteer.com, where you can find our entire inventory, which is much more than what we bring to the in-person events that we go to.
This is
Holiday
all
season
handmade
seems
stuff,
to be
too.
starting earlier and earlier each year. People want to get ahead on their shopping and gifting, and it's such an honor to get to participate as a third wheel, I guess, in that gifting from one person to another when they purchase one of our products.
And can I just say, if any of my friends are watching this and want ideas, anything that go check him out, whichever way he is. Yeah. Yeah, check him out.
You're this
That
way.
guy.
Order for me anything. I would love
Yeah.
it. I promise. Yeah, wherever you are.
We became friends a couple weeks ago, and I'll tell you what, you do some really amazing work. As
Thank
far as what, at least from what I've seen, but I've only been around for a couple weeks to be fair. But I have been following what you do, and I've been watching, and I've checked out your pages. Like, man, this guy really does some amazing. And it's good to see somebody out there genuinely doing it from the heart, and not just trying to, like I said earlier, you see a lot of people trying to look the part, but not be the part. And it's good to see somebody out there that's doing it all for the right reasons.
Thank you.
You understand why you're doing it. You understand your gift, and you understand what you need to do with your gifts. And I appreciate it.
That's a huge difference between intention and purpose.
I agree 100%, man.
Yeah.
But thank you guys
Thank you
for all tuning in tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the very first episode. I enjoyed meeting you, man. I was really looking forward to actually sitting down and having a chat. I hope you had fun. We'll get to get you back on here again. But thank you guys, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. It's on here, whether you're on YouTube,
everyone.
Facebook. Thank you for hanging out with us. we will catch you next Wednesday, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday. Ooh, getting closer to the fall months. But yeah, hang out backstage for a minute till the show's over. Pop, I'd like to say goodbye to you officially. Until then, guys, catch you guys next Wednesday for another Witches Hour. Until then, guys, be safe, be well. See y'all soon.
Stay spooky.